Okay, now after that personal update, let's start with the opening recitations. Dala dhamma jebe dra nobar jebe ge tarba dan tam je gembe bardu chobra jeba tam jege su jebe ma nangkada Nyampe senchen tam je dewa dan den dunga dan de de la na me pa yang da pra so be chan che rinpo che to pra jo do la dong wa je be da no pra je be ge Tarpa dang tam je gembe pardu chopra je ba tam je ge se je be mo nang ga dang nyam be sen chen tam che dewa dang ten tung yao dang de ne de la na me ba yang da pra so be chan ju ren po je do pra ja da la dang wa je be da no para je pe ke tarpa dhan tham je kembe bardu chopra je ba dam je ge se je be ma nang ga dang nyam be sen chen tham je de wa dang den dung ngao dang de ne de la na me ba ya da bara so be chan ju ren bo je dom bra ja da la dong ma je be da no para je be ge tarpa dang tam je kembe bardu jobra je ba tam je ge su je be ma nong ka dang nyam be sen jen tam je de wa dang de dung a dang de ne de la na me pa yang da bra zo be jan ju rim bo je to bra ja de je du sang ma ge ki bar du lung a yisum ge wa la gu ma she bar du lung a yisum ge wa la gu du de ring ne song de ne ma san da sam ge bar du lung a yisum ge wa la gu. Now to the bottom of page 5. Sangye Chodang Soge Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dane Kyapsu Che Dake Jensu Kebe Sonang Ke Drola Penche Sangye Dupra Sho Sangye Chodang Soge Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dane Kyapsu Che Dake Jensu Kebe Sonang Ke Drola Penche Sangye Dupra Sho Sangye Chodang Soge Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dane Kyapsu Che Dake Jinsu Gebe Sonang Ke Drola Penche Sangye Dupra Sho Manang Kadang Nyampe Senchen Tamche Dewa Dang Dewe Gendan Dampara Gyurji Tungao Dang Tungyao Gi Kyudang Dewa Gyurji Tungao Mepe Dewa Dang Me Dewa Gyurji Neding Chadang Nidang Dewe Dang Nyong La Nabra Gyurji Kadang Nyampe Senchen Tamche Dewa Dang Dewe Gendan Dampara Gyurji Tungao Dang Tungyao Gi Gyudan Dewa Gyurji Dunga Mebe Dewa Dhammi Dewa Gyurji Nirin Chadang Nidang Dewa Dang Nyong La Nabra Gyurji Ma Kadang Nyambe Senchen Tamche Dewa Dang Dewa Kindan Dhambra Gyurji Dunga Dang Dunga Ki Gyudan Dewa Gyurji Dunga Mebe Dewa Dhammi Dewa Gyurji Nirin Chadang Nidang Dewa Dang Nyong La Nabra Gyurji Bajra Samaja Bajra Samaja Bajra Samaja Malu Semchen Gungi Gungirin Tude Bunje Mise Chomzela Gona Malu Jishin Kingirbe Chomden Koje Nerde She Su So Argam Padyam Pushbe Tube Alo Ken Kende Nebe De Shabda Brade Jaso Ha Sashi Boju Jushi Medo Tamrira Lenshi Ninde Gembadi Sanje Shinla Mekte Powa Ye Drogo Namda Shindu Jobara Sho Jase Wadang Chojin Shapadang Jesu Yirang Kusing Sowa Ye 개와 중세 닭의 제사바 탐제 소배 장주 제릉오 너모 남세 남다게 라마라 난세 시신수 조바부 감손 용도 소와데 코르와 동주수 진지러 제 이신 얼부 수기게 마삼점에 겨웨투 겐베 예싱하던 덴세웨 다니 가든젠 도와 교세른 버지 다 셈니기 낭순네 소와데 주니기 낭도 진질로 셈도네 게메 남다데 로데 조구 도브라 진질로 Here, this last part, grant your blessings for realizing this primordially birthless and completely pristine mind. And this mind is birthless, primordially, always has been so. Primordially. Kime is birthless. Done kime, primordially birthless. Whenever you see the word primordial in Buddhist texts, don't think of it as referencing some kind of cosmological event long, long time ago, primordially in that sense, you know. Primordial means here, more important than. Of course, it has implications on of that aspect, primordial as referring to, you could say, since time without beginning, primordial. But more important than since time without beginning, it's saying, in this moment, it has always been so. In this moment, it has always been like this. It has always been so. So primordial needs to be understood less as a reference to 3 billion years ago, 20 billion years ago, when Earth was formed. It's not primordial in that sense. More important point of primordial is now, and what is now has always been so. And what is the so here? Birthless. And you cannot find a start, so to say. But you also cannot deny that on the level of experience, it exists. But it doesn't exist in the way that we have habitually thought that it exists. And therefore, this expression, birthless or unborn. Namda. Namda is completely, thoroughly pure, pristine. Always remember that the word pure or pristine is the secret mantra word or expression for what is more commonly taught as emptiness in the sutra material. And then to understand emptiness at a level that most of us need to understand first. It's the training in impermanence. Then with regards to impermanence, there's the coarse impermanence. The obvious aspect of impermanence. The impermanence that is referred to in such instructions as training to turn the mind away from distractions, the four thoughts that turn the mind, that is pointing to the gross impermanence, which is that having obtained, for example, having obtained this precious human life with all the endowments, with all the advantages, if we don't take good care of it, and if we don't take good advantage of it, we never know how quickly any of these advantages may disappear. As I've said, sometimes these advantages disappear for what we would call a good reason. So maybe, you have been able to practice this every morning because, you are in between jobs, And suddenly, oh, you have a job now. Oh, but then it makes it hard, to practice with the group now. You cannot deny, on one level you say, oh, it's good. I have a job now. I can pay my bills, which is good. Otherwise, you may be a burden to others. But then here we are, So impermanence as, it's not just, impermanence, oh, impermanence, because bad things have happened. Even the things that we label as good, at least good enough, can also stand in the way. So that's the gross impermanence. But that gross impermanence, that obvious impermanence, which we should habituate, we should keep in focus, that it is so, that it is so, points to a deeper truth, which is the truth of uncertainty, unreliability, and the unfixed essence. Now, we're entering the territory of understanding lack of self. So the two types of selflessness in Buddhist philosophy: selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena. Selflessness of person is the grosser type. Selflessness of phenomena is the more subtle type. There's lots that can be explained in a very sophisticated way. But briefly, holding on to a sense of I on the basis of you, feeling like, well, of course there's an I. Even in my sleep, I'm pretty sure there's an I. Because even in sleep, when we dream, the sense of I is pretty strong, And the minute you wake up, I has already kicked in. You're like, what do you mean there's no I? But Buddha says that I, it's not really there. What is there is maybe a shadow. Selflessness of phenomena is referring to when you look deeper, right? Maybe you start to see, oh, that kind of I that I have habitually thought exists. Now I'm starting to have doubts. Maybe it's not really a solid I, but it's a aggregation of many different factors. But even that, with regards to the factors, these impersonal factors, because our appetite for grasping is so strong, we still, we can even fixate on these impersonal characteristics, such as, maleness, tallness, shortness, Femaleness, non-female, maleness, non-binary, binary, American, Mexican, Martian, lizard, whatever it is, that can also then become a very strong basis of a sense of I. So that's referring to phenomena, and to be able to see that such phenomena start such impersonal categories also isn't where the self is what we call understanding selflessness of phenomena. Very plainly translated, this explanation. But generally, so from gross impermanence to subtle impermanence to understanding selflessness in its two aspects, then leading to understanding emptiness. Then the teachings on emptiness is not just the teachings on emptiness. The teachings on emptiness is also the teachings on appearances. Very important, the main body of sutras, where the Buddha taught emptiness, is called the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. But what maybe many people don't know is that in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, Buddha wasn't just teaching about emptiness. In equal measure, in some ways even more, he was also teaching bodhisattva practices, bodhisattva activities, summarized into the 6 perfections, sometimes 10 perfections. The extensive bodhisattva practices and bodhisattva activities are in detail taught in the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. So emptiness is not the only, but it is the core realization insofar as helping us unentangle ourselves from the causes of suffering, unentangle ourselves for the causes that block the ability to be all-knowing. And why do we need the ability to be all-knowing? For the purposes of being able to help others in meaningful, effective ways. So in our recitations, we say, those who cause obstacles to my liberation and to my attainment of all-knowingness. There's referring to the two aspects of being liberated, becoming free. The preliminary, you could say, step is personally becoming free from the causes of suffering. And that is when we have completely dispelled or completely seen, realized the selflessness of persons. Until selflessness of phenomena has been realized, in other words, the delusion, all the delusions surrounding phenomena having selves, having some kind of essence that you can claim for yourself, until you have disabused yourself of that confusion, it says that all-knowingness is not possible. Irony there. Because we are so invested in at this level. It's actually a very profound, advanced level, to be able to see that there is no self, there's no core self, but then now invested in investigating all the different phenomena. So in the Heart Sutra, it says, Avalokiteshvara was immersed in the samadhi of enumerating the dharmas. So when we get to the level of enumerating the dharmas, that means investigating the dharmas, here dharmas with a small d, meaning phenomena. When we get to the level of being able to, instead of seeing persons, you could say we get to the subatomic level now. But there is its own traps at the subatomic level. In some ways, right? The irony there is we become so invested in looking at everything at the subatomic level, that itself becomes a hindrance from all-knowingness. We zoom into such details, and as they say, you have lost the forest because of the trees. So you cannot see the forest. All-knowingness, right? It's not just seeing the particularities of any given situation. It's to be able to locate that particularity in a network of the whole. All-knowingness. So then we have to overcome that. And it said that to overcome that, the bodhisattva practices, the 6 paramitas, becomes necessary. The not explicit wisdom aspects of training in giving, in disciplined conduct, in what's translated as patience, then in diligence, then in stability of heart, samadhi. So these 5. So Shantideva famously said, Buddha taught these 5 for the purpose of the 6, wisdom. And sometimes people misunderstand, they think, oh, so you mean if I get wisdom, I don't need the other 5? No. And what it's really saying is, it's impossible to penetrate to the 6, the wisdom, without relying on 5. I think often people make that mistake. When they read Shantideva, they say, oh, see, Shantideva said, all the other 5 was taught for the purpose of the 6. And of course, we are all like this, Who doesn't like it when you go to 6, chapter 9, wisdom? You're like, oh, I'm so smart. I get this. And then you think, I got 6. I don't need 5 anymore. I don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anymore. Then likely what has happened is you have veered off in the direction of nihilism. Then Nagarjuna, the great illuminator of these teachings on emptiness, he says, emptiness wrongly understood is more deadly than grabbing a cobra with your bare hands. Oh, by the way, on Facebook, there's these reels on people in Thailand, catching cobras. Fascinating, but dangerous. After a few hours, you're still watching people catching cobras. They catch cobras with what size is that? A gallon size plastic container, like a Pepsi. Fascinating, by the way. But Nagarjuna says, emptiness, wrongly understood, is more deadly than grabbing a cobra with your hands. Then he further says, so between the error of emptiness and the error of eternalism, he says, then if those are your 2 choices, better to go in the direction of eternalism. Very strong words, for someone like Nagarjuna to say that. You could say Nagarjuna's whole life is dedicated to illuminating teachings on emptiness. But in the end, he says so. But if you're going to make a mistake, better to make a mistake in believing in the eternity of self. Of the two errors, it's a less mischief. Because he says, at least if you believe in an eternal self, usually those kinds of beliefs come together with beliefs about, being a good person. So in some ways today, I think part of the chaos we are seeing in the world is a particular version of emptiness has kind of permeated the world, which is like everything is relative and everything cannot be trusted. Everything is not true. And your truth is as good as my truth, which is as good as anybody else's truth. This is really Nagarjuna gone wrong. Is it better or worse than when people believe in, or many people believe, in there is God. God will punish you. God will reward you. Remains to be seen. I don't know if it's better or worse now that people don't believe in that anymore. But then they have gone in the nihilistic side of interdependence, but in a nihilistic way. So meaning becomes impossible. Shared meaning becomes impossible. Understanding is left at the level of kind of meaningless statements that cynically kind of point to everything being meaningless in any case. Then, in that case, then the kleshas dominate. But dominate in a sophisticated look, making fun of the simplicity of, uneducated people and their belief in God and in punishment and in rewards. And so we have to be careful of this. I want to share with you one passage. Now shifting gears to we're beginning to get some idea, get a little taste, little glimpse of how to cultivate the natural state Mahamudra, which still, we need to develop more capacity for stabilizing the mind. And even at this point, in the first of the four parts, the four parts are harder. The four parts in the achieving samadhi with meditation without signs. By definition, because they are without signs, the four stages are not so clear as, say, for example, the four bindus or the four places that the bindu is held, and the four colors, but so bigger context is these two sets of practices, and the four bindus in the four places, and the 4 degrees of cultivating stability of mind using the meditation without signs. They are all aimed at stabilizing the mind, holding the mind stable. Mm. And that is a really important ability or quality to have before we go to the pointing out nature of mind. Because to superficially go to learning about nature of mind without first developing the ability to hold the heart steady. Uh, and when we say hold the heart steady, we're really talking about the activities of the heart, not the heart itself, right? Not mind itself, not mindness, not nature of mind. Nature of mind, actually, nothing changes, nothing, it doesn't move, it doesn't stay. Right? It is what it is, right? But it's the activities of the heart that we have to manage first. Learn how to stabilize that. Learn how to steady that. So that's samadhi. Right? So regarding that, maybe I'll share another passage. So here it says, one type of great meditators. This is from another early Kagyupa text. It says, one type of great meditators, having, tasted some degree of stability, then they turn their attention to the what's called the clarity of movement, meaning they gain some degree of stability, then they think, okay, now I can go look at, I can now focus on the movement part. My stability is fine now. So this is too quickly, thinking, oh, I understand stability now. Now I'll go tackle the movement part of the mind. And it says, in doing so, before long, a difficult situation will arise where your practice cannot be maintained by this mere experience of superficial stability. That your mindfulness is not strong enough. Your grip of mindfulness is actually not strong enough. And so then it becomes counterproductive. The authentic, unwavering state of clarity arises precisely by relying on stability, relying on the ability to keep stable, keep steady, keep samadhi. With this approach, it is easy to maintain the experience, and it will bring great progress. At the time of resting in the state of abiding, steadying the mind, now a state, an experience of lack of clarity may arise. It says, but maintaining that very state without wavering, after a while, it will naturally become clear. So here it's saying that as you are working with stabilizing the mind, yes, you will have the experience of the mind becoming dull. It may fall into dullness. Unclarity may arise. But here the instruction is to maintain that state without wavering. And what is that state? That state is not saying you maintain the lack of clarity, but that you maintain noticing the lack of clarity is setting in. Then do not waver from knowing that. And it says, and the instructions are saying, and when you are able to do that without wavering, clarity will come by itself. And no need to go introduce clarity from somewhere else. Don't too quickly, oh, I should try something else. Or like, I should try focusing on the clarity of mind now. No. The instruction here is maintain the knowledge now, the recognition. Lack of clarity is now setting in. So the mind is actually watching that aspect of mind. And it says, it will naturally become clear. The original passage I wanted to share with you goes like this. In general, regarding the vital point of practice, there's nothing more profound than remaining vividly present within whatever arises and sustaining that appearance without any artifice. Again, regarding the vital point of your practice, there is nothing more profound, nothing more profound than remaining vividly, clearly present. That means that knowledge, that knowledge of, right now, lack of clarity is setting in. Or right now, there is presence of clarity. Remaining vividly present within whatever arises and sustaining that appearance without any artifice. Don't look away. Engaging in many restless activities driven by expectations, anxieties, and desires is the cause of constitutional imbalances. Right? It's saying that, if you don't know the secret here, and you try to do this and that, it may even cause constitutional imbalances. The sutras teach, this is a very nice sentence, the sutra teach that having little wisdom while possessing great exertion is a cause of obstacles. Little wisdom, like having a lot of energy, is a great obstacle. It is a hindrance to meditation. Pray to the Guru and maintain the mind in an unfabricated state. Since there is no teaching more profound than allowing whatever appears to rest without grasping, all methods for clearing obstacles and enhancing progress will arise naturally from this. It is said that if one does not put such a teaching into practice, then one may cause one's heart to become rotten. This is the fifth instruction on Mahamudra. Praying to the Guru and maintaining the mind in an unfabricated state. So just a few minutes, maybe now, of getting to the point of the bindu. And then you may want to choose, to go into the without signs as well. And then if, that stirs up, yes, as I said, yes, it will stir up some, wait, that's another thought. Wait, that's another thought. Yes, that's part of the method. Don't look away. It says here, don't look away. Yes, that's another thought. Oh, I just thought of that another thought. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, wait, I just thought of another thought. Yes. Wait, this thought to try to stop the thought is a thought. Yes. Yeah, so just yes, yes, yes. And then when it's too much, go back to the bindu. And remember, right? Bindu or not, right? It's about stabilizing the mind. Yeah, so remember all the instructions that leads up to this, right? Holding the idam, the guru in the heart. When it's without signs, then no need the guru in any explicit way, the idam in any explicit way. When it is still at the level of working with the bindu, then yes, try to keep yourself as idam in the heart as guru. We won't do this for long today because I have to be at somewhere. And so we have to end very promptly today, a little bit before 9. So, but at least a few minutes of being able to do this is good. Sorry, we have to cut short today's session. So now page 78. By the virtues collected in the three times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtues, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. Changchu Semcho Rinpoche Ma Ge Ba Nam Ge Gyu Che Ge Ba Nyam Pa Me Ba Yang Gong Ne Gong Du Bell War Shou. Okay. Ta-ta, everyone.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Yeah, thank you. Hello for
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Lai.
Mm.
Thank you.